Since most of the Texan defenders of the Alamo were killed, we know little about the actual battle from their perspective. However, we do have primary sources from Mexican soldiers who participated in the battle, as well as from Joe, an enslaved man owned by Colonel Travis, who was in the fort at the time, as well as Susanna Dickinson, the wife of one of the Texan artillerists. Now, filmmakers use these accounts to try and depict the fighting as accurately as possible, despite the lack of information. Joe, that enslaved man, claimed that, quote, it was dark and the enemy were undiscovered until they were close to the walls. He later claimed that sentinels and all were asleep. There were 3 picket guards without the fort, but they too, it is supposed, were asleep and were run upon and bayoneted, for they gave no alarm that was heard. Despite the Texans being caught off guard, they initially put up quite a fight. Jose Enrique de la Peña claimed that the Texan defenders each had 3 or 4 loaded muskets and rifles each at their stations, making the first volleys very fast and devastating for Mexican attackers. And all of these defenders rushed their posts upon the Mexican attack except for James Bowie, who during the siege suffered from consumption which confined him to his bed even during the final battle. Now, he would stay there in that bed until being bayoneted to death by Mexican soldiers. Their interpretation of how defenders were alerted thanks to shots fired by Davy Crockett is flawed. However, it is indeed true that the enthusiastic shouts of Viva Santa Anna and Viva la República alarmed Texan defenders to where the assault was coming from. An unidentified Mexican soldier claimed that, quote, although the distance was short, we suffered through canister shots that shot down more than 40 men. It seemed as though the shot and bullets from the cannons, muskets, and rifles of the enemy found their marks on the chests of our soldiers, who ceaselessly shouted, long live the Mexican Republic, long live General Santa Anna. Texan artillery rounds tore through Mexican ranks, as it is observed by Jose Enrique de la Peña that it could be observed that a single cannon volley did away with half the company of chasseurs from Toluca. Now, the Mexican assault deteriorated due to the confusion of this deadly fire. De la Peña claims that a lively rifle fire coming from the roof of the barracks and other points caused painful havoc, increasing the confusion of our disorderly mass. Now, the movie portrays those Mexican soldiers advancing in formations, but quickly their formations deteriorating into a single mass of unorganized troops. Now, using these accounts, I believe that filmmakers did a really good job of capturing the actions of March 6, 1836 into a really accurate depiction of the Battle of the Alamo.